All right, CITIUS Mag here with Nico Young. Just came off a 3K, set a Stanford freshman record, 7:55.
Yep.
Talk us through kind of, you ran cross, a little bit of cross, had an issue, health issue during that season, but talk us through, now that you've had a little more time to run in college, what are some big adjustments and what have you learned kind of going into the NCAA?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I've learned since entering the NCAA is it's no joke. It's full of amazing athletes and it's full of people who work really hard and really, really want to do well. Not to say high school isn't, it's just that it's just it's a little bit different and I'm super thrilled to be in it. Cross was fun. Cross was full of hiccups. The first race we did was the Virginia Invite, which for anyone who's run that course, it's like running through a field of gopher holes, in the sense that it's very uneven, which really messed with my hamstrings and stuff like that. So even following that race, I had a lot of little issues nagging me that were kind of holding back training, and it didn't help that 3 weeks later my appendix burst, which put me out for longer. Missed Nuttycombe, I even missed Pac-12s because of it. And the team wasn't in a great place, so I was working as hard as I could to build fitness and get back as soon as I could, and I did that for the most part, but at the same time, you can only get so much fitness after being literally sedentary for an entire week. I felt that, I'd go for runs and I'd be 2 miles into a run, running 7-minute pace, and my heart rate would just be through the roof and I'd feel terrible. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? This is crazy. It took a long time to really feel like I was getting a little bit fit. And by the time, by the time I even felt like I was kind of fit was pretty much when we started cutting down for the end of the season. And my team really needed me, so I raced as hard as I could. Regionals and cross was fine. I pretty much felt like I was running off grit, but that kind of put me in the well for the weekend after. At Nationals, felt like there was nothing there. Ran Boston 3 weeks later. It was a decent race. I think I ran 13:49, which was technically, it's PR in the 5K and stuff. All good stuff, but the issue was, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, is I wasn't really running with much confidence. And I had some fitness, but not as much. And now coming into indoor season, I have a lot more fitness, but you got to build back that confidence, because when you run without confidence, because you're not really as fit as you want to be, it takes a toll, and you got to build it back, right? So that's something that we're trying to do. That's exactly what today was all about, and I think that today kind of exemplified that. I went in there today with a very clear strategy. I said, well, I'm not going to lead the thing. I'm not going to sit in the back. I'll just kind of meet myself in the middle, sit in the middle of the race, find someone just to stay on, try to get through the race as strong as I can with keeping my head in the game. I knew I'd be fine that first half. I knew the kind of 50 to 75% mark of the race was going to be the toughest part. And at that point, I was just telling myself okay, I've only got I basically think about it there's the start of the race, there's the tough part of the race, and then there's the closing part of the race. The closing part of the race is probably last 4 laps, something like that, right? So you get to 7 laps, at 7 laps, you've got 5 laps till what I call the closing part, and that gives you, is that right? No, you get to 7 laps, you've got 4 laps until what I call the closing part, right? So I'm just telling myself 4 laps to go, 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go, 1 lap to go, and then you're okay, well, I've got half a mile to go now. Once you've done that part, and getting through that part basically keeps my head in the game, allows me to have my legs and my mind with me 4 laps to go, and then I feel good enough to go have fun with it. And that's exactly what happened. I just worked to really pick people off and move up throughout the race, and I did that the last 3 laps. I ended up finishing 3rd, but I was pretty happy with how I executed the latter half of the race. I'm happy with the way that I stayed tough throughout the first 3 quarters of the race. The time technically is, it's a PR for me. Well, it has to be. It's the first 3K I've ever run. It's a Stanford freshman record, which is super fun there. And in general, it's a big building block for me in getting better as an athlete in the NCAA. And tomorrow I get to race again at the New Balance track, and I'm thrilled for that as well.
Now, talk about, you had a really successful day today. Talk briefly about why you guys didn't decide to run U20s.
Oh, dude, last year I ran U20s and loved it. The issue was that, for one thing, they shifted the schedule back a little bit. So the actual world meet is in late March. It's also in Serbia as opposed to coastal Croatia. And my coach just wasn't really thrilled about the way it landed in the season. He also has I think he also has bigger aspirations for me in indoor than he thinks could be seen in U20s. I ran really well in U20s last year, and I loved it. But I think that we both kind of tried to look at it objectively, my coach and I, and we found that we kind of think that at least there's going to be more to learn and to gain from running an indoor season this year than running U20s. But not to say it's not a good opportunity. I mean, it's so much fun. For anyone who's never run it, I mean, it's such a great way to gain experience running cross country and just like running like among people from all these different nations. Not to mention it's an incredibly fun thing to do. I highly recommend it.
Now to wrap up here, let's talk about your brother Nico. He is just about to go into a 5K, and he just ran a really impressive mile at altitude. What was your reaction to that? And maybe talk about some predictions for what he's about to do in 20 minutes.
Man, Nico's a beast. I was like, I obviously, like, I know the training. I know his training. I talked to him. I'm very close with him. So like, I knew it could happen. I know what he's capable of. I've seen him race, and I've seen him put himself out there in races. But like anytime someone runs as fast as he did is mind blowing. I mean, under 4 minutes at 7,000 feet converted to whatever, a 3:48 mile is just ridiculous. It's just bonkers. I mean, he's crazy. He's super fit. He works really hard, and every time that he runs, he works so hard for it that this guy, like, and he lives for it. Whatever he does tonight, I feel like I have a good feeling about it. I think he'll run well, and I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited to watch. He's super fit. It'll be good.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Happy to see what you do tomorrow.
Thanks.